So, hello everybody, my name is Rimvidas. Uh, Now I'm working as a quality manager for Consolis Lithuania. Also, I am a member of technical committee in Lithuania of Concrete and a member of Concrete Association of Lithuania, which I will be representing today. Also with us, we have Professor Gintautas, who is a president of this Concrete Association. Daukšys, he couldn't come to this event, but he made the most input into preparing this document for Lithuania. So let's go next. So today I will briefly present you our Lithuanian approach to the concrete quality, so to say. As you all noticed during recent maybe 20 years, the precast concrete industry has increased dramatically in our countries, and also together with that, the quality requirements are also quite in a different level than they were before. Usually in practice, it is in many cases, it is quite hard to find a balance between the possibilities of the manufacturer and the demands of the client. So for this reason, something like, I don't exactly remember, but maybe in 2018, we started a work group in the Lithuanian Technical Committee. I was also a member in this work group, and we started preparing this document, this standard for Lithuania, which is called Precast Concrete Products, Surface Appearance Characteristics, and the Methods for Inspecting. So it's, generally speaking, it is a standard according to which we can evaluate the quality, the visual quality of concrete surface appearance. As I mentioned, we started the process in 2018. We had some members in the work group from the industry, also from academia, and the whole process took about 2 years. And in 2020, autumn, the standard was already released. So it's 5 years already in practice, and it can be used by different companies in Lithuania. Also, probably many of you know this 13369. It's common rules for precast concrete elements. It also has lots of quality requirements for concrete, for precast concrete particular. But as we thought that there are not enough requirements about the visual characteristics of concrete. And this Lithuanian standard 2016 is used to evaluate the surface characteristics of precast concrete elements according to three characteristics: texture, structure, and the color. Also, to avoid comparing apples to bananas, we have to establish specific terms and definitions. So I selected 4 of those terms and definitions from the standard, so that all the parties, the manufacturer, the architect, and the client would have a common understanding what are they speaking about. So in our case, we have normal surface, which basically means it's a concrete surface that has no visual requirements. It can be gray, it can be black, white, whatever, so no visual requirements for that. The second is special surface. It's a concrete to which we attach some kind of visual requirements. It can be some kind of maybe structure, color, or texture. But also we have some notes here. I will not read the text, but even if it is special surface, we are letting to do some kind of repairs on that surface. So of course the client will always say it's easy for the client to say throw back the elements to the away, make a new elements, but we have somehow to protect us from that. So that's the standard is used for protection and common understanding. The other 2 are ordinary concrete, which means it's a typical concrete which is mixed according to 06 standard, and it has no color restrictions on it. Second one is colored concrete. It means that we are attaching some kind of color requirements to this concrete. Surfaces of precast elements. Maybe who is familiar to the precast production technology will understand that maybe in all the cases, every concrete element has three surfaces, three categories of the surface. So the first surface is from the horizontal mold. The second is the vertical mold, and the third is surface which has no contact with any kind of facing material. So depending on this surface, we have to attach different characteristics of quality requirements. Now I will show you briefly the standard that we are talking here about, and it basically consists of three main parts. The first part is just some examples of what precast industry can provide for this day. Second part is about measurable characteristics of quality deviations, which we can measure, for example, pores, bumps, lumps, and so on. And the third part is unmeasurable characteristics like color, efflorescence, and so on. So first is surfaces in contact with the form-facing material. On the left, we have a typical smooth surface when we are using uncolored concrete. Here we have also smooth surface, but using colored concrete. I have to mention that in the standard we used not like white or black or any other color, but gray color, because when you attach some kind of quality requirements to gray, it also becomes a color, and you have to control the stability of this color. On the right, we have metric surface. It's commonly known as RECLI. So this one is without any color restrictions. You have some stains here. It will be basically painted after that. On the right, we have RECLI surface that will not be painted after that, so we have to control the appearance of the surface. Moving on, we have graphic surface, washed surface, mechanically treated surface. Then, of course, many variations of tiles, bricks, whatever. Terrazzo, polished concrete, chemically treated surface. Moving to the second part. No, it's the same first part, just more different kinds of surfaces. So untreated surface, just naturally compacted. The treated surface, mechanically grinded, manually grinded, rolled surface, brushed surface. And moving to the second part, definitions of measurable surface characteristics. What kind of quality deviations that we can measure, actually. So the first one, of course, is recesses or voids, some lumps on the surface, ridges, grooves, step discontinuity between the molds. This is what we call moon surface, and even cracks. Chamfers also can be used on the concrete elements. Measurement of those characteristics. In the standard, we have this basic table of the measured concrete characteristics, and we are providing three classes of those measurable concrete surfaces: A, B, and C. Simply speaking, A surface can be reached mostly only casting the concrete on the horizontal surface. Of course, not in every cases, but usually. B category, usually we use that when we are talking about the vertical side molds, and C, it's this traveled surface. And you can find lots of different values here: the number of lumps, the number of pores, maximum step discontinuity, maximum ridge height, and so on. Here you see how those characteristics are measured in practice. And the third part is unmeasurable surface characteristics. So we can structure. Structure is a thing that we can describe mostly by touching the surface or looking closely to it. Texture is a complicated thing that can be described looking at the element from the bigger distance. Color variations is a common thing in precast concrete elements, and it has lots of different reasons. Those reasons are also provided in the standards. For example, type of cement, aggregates, water concrete deviation, temperature deviation, humidity deviation, and so on. A fluorescence, when we are using pigmented concrete, we have this so-called salts coming out from the concrete. We have the formula here, and the color is blushing during time. Reinforcement shadow, we also have some description in the standard. What is that? Why it's happening? Aggregate transparency also. Leakage of molds probably. The imprints of molds. And some impressions also on molds. Last but not least, we have an annex in the standard which describes how to make samples before starting a precast concrete project. You have to make small samples, show the client what you are capable of, and after that, when the client chooses one of those small samples, you are going to the large-scale samples, and before starting the actual project, you agree with the client that this sample will be a controlling sample that you will follow the whole production process. Yeah, so that's how the process looks like. Thank you for attention.